What is going on, everyone? We're here. We're live from my actual room, which I haven't been in several days. We've been on the road, took a trip to Texas. It kind of got all fucked up. It went to shit because that's just how it goes. Seemingly, anytime I travel, something wrong has to happen. And by something, I mean like 5 things went wrong. My flights got canceled. One of the shows we were supposed to do got canceled. I had to drive back to the airport to get my hotel and then drive back to Orlando, Florida. It was a fucking mess. But that's just how it is. We hurried home. We got back today because I wanted to get some content out and I wanted to go live with all these gentlemen you're going to see today. I hope everybody's doing good in the chat. We've got Low Watermark says, welcome back, Ryan. Food problems, winter storm problems, flights getting canceled problems because American Airlines bitch-made pussy-ass fuckers. So, it is what it is. I guess it's not just American. Like 2,000 flights got canceled because no one in Dallas, Texas knows how to handle a little bit of freezing rain. Oh, no, freezing rain, ice. Everything's bigger in Texas. Again, I said on Friday Night Tights, except their balls when it drops below 40. They disappointed me. But I see Judicon in the chat. I see Brandon Blair, the listening fat. We've got Just Delightful, Scourge, Arc, Demi Dragon. When will you be on You Are Here then? I don't know. We'll have to reschedule it. So I can tell you, I don't really feel like going out of my way to take a trip. So maybe when I'm back out there sometime, and if it works out, that'll be fine. We did get to go on Sarah Gonzalez's show, The News and Why It Matters, which I love being on that show. That was awesome. That's actually broadcast, I think, like on the Blaze Network as well. So that was fun. Me and Jeremy got to do that. So at least the trip wasn't completely pointless. Yes, it's okay if you watch Trump as well as me. That's okay. But we might as well bring some of these awesome people in. First off, he was first to click the link. You know him. You love him. The hype man, Biggles. What's up,
Hello,
buddy?
I am Pickles. This is Ryan. I hype him. It's worth it. He's fun. And there might be something that I have not told you guys yet, but I have to wait till I get the team's invite for it to be official. Yeah. So wait for that.
Okay, there you go. That's quite the tease, isn't it? That's quite the tease right there. But all right, good to have Biggles here as always. We also have the Masked Man. I thought mask mandates were dropped, but apparently not. Heath Nation, what's up, buddy?
Not when you look like a badass. Ahoy, ahoy, land lovers. It is I, Ryan Art Kinel's Discord ambassador, Heath Nation himself.
The Discord ambassador. There you go.
I thought you said the Discord bastard, and I was like,
nah,
hey, that works too.
I can be the bastard if you want me to be.
That'd be a good one. The Discord bastard. I like that. That's going to be a role, I think.
You should make it a role. Why not? Have fun with it.
At this point. Good to have you here, man. Also joining once again, we have Patty. What's up, Patty?
Yo, how's it going?
That's pretty good. Now, Patty is our resident Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm sure it seems like all of a sudden Canadian news has just gone away. No one's talking about Canada anymore for some reason.
Well, to be fair, we don't really matter that much.
Yeah. I thought they were a make-believe country.
No, you're thinking Australia.
Justin Trudeau is just thanking Putin right now for taking all the heat off of him for being a dictator and a tyrant.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah. He got so lucky with that happening.
He did. Some would say it's no such thing as luck. But we also have returning. It's the first time he's been here, I think, in a little while. Maybe he was here last month. I don't quite remember. But I know he's back making content. Story Man Jack, what's up, brother?
I am busy. So, yeah, I took some time off because it's really hard to do what I do on YouTube. If I just wrote stories, I could have content out every day. But I have to do everything, rewrites, all that stuff. So I have to take breaks from time to time. So I am back. I'm working on a new series. It's a science fiction fantasy series. So check it out.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And all these guys, if they have channels, they should be linked in the description. And I think Steph is going to be sharing them as well. Yes, Steph is still, she's in the back, so she's modding. She'll be dropping links throughout the whole stream. So that's where you can find these guys. We also have Ubuntu. What's up, man?
Not much. Just vibing on the West Coast in hell.
Vibing on the West Coast. I'm glad I'm not on the West Coast anymore. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get out.
Yeah, I will say the one good thing is Pacific time. I loved being on Pacific time.
It is kind of nice being able to wake up a lot later than everyone else. I'm not going to lie.
Well, what's nice about it is sports. For me, it's sports because like for NFL games to start at 10 o'clock in the morning and, the late game starts at like 5:30 in the afternoon and it's done by 8:30. That's perfect.
You get to bed real early. You don't got to stay up late to do all the dishes from the football get together. Yeah.
Exactly. Real quick, we've got Low Watermark here in the chat. Low Watermark is the fucking man. Recently became a big supporter on Patreon as well. It's for $25. Says, sorry, I had to go. All the best to you. Go Ryan and go supporters. Thank you very much, Low Watermark. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate the support over here. And then also, we have someone else to introduce who I think it might have been a month or two since we've seen him, but he's back. We had to get some diversity on here, especially if we're going to talk Lord of the Rings. We've got Mexican Iron Man, the vice president of RK Nation.
Yes, that's me, and official non-diversity and non-inclusion RK Nation hype man.
There it is. Look at that. So we can't just have all the hype men be white, straight white males like Biggles. So we had to diversify things.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? I ordered my birth certificate to renew my passport, and I never, looked at it like all these billion times that I probably had it, never looked at it. And on the third line on the right side, it said Caucasian. I was like, holy shit, upgrade.
Damn. It's always so confusing to me because some will it is interesting the way people define race and ethnicity and stuff on a variety of forms, because sometimes it'll be there with everything you can choose it instead of Caucasian, and then sometimes it'll be like Caucasian or non-Hispanic Caucasian or whatever, so it gets confusing for everyone apparently.
That's why the one thing we can get behind is RK Nation.
That's true. And embrace RK Nation, reject Latinx.
That's right.
There's no Latinx in RK Nation. I can tell you that much. We built a wall. No Latinx allowed.
Well, we need to finish that wall, speaking of which, but that's a story for another day.
Yes, that is. Speaking of, I'm pretty sure Trump's talking at CPAC right now, which is pretty funny. But we do have a couple other super chats. Thank you guys so much. For Canadian 10, her in the steadfast says, hey, Ryan, just wanted to let you know your reaction when people fuck up your food order is 100% right. They are getting paid to do a proper job and it ain't rocket science. Yeah, I fucking agree with you.
No, you're 100% in the right there. I've worked fast food before. It's not that difficult.
Same.
So, they have a list. They get a list on a screen. It tells them what to do. All they have to do is take the money, go by the list, and hand it out. It's not that hard. They have one job.
Now they got one guy taking the money and one person on the grill, one person doing the drinks, and one person handing them the food.
Fun fact.
How do I make a burger?
Fun fact. Fries? You make so many of those fucking burgers and so many of those food that you just muscle memory, and halftime you don't even look at the fucking screen. That's
I think
you make the mistakes.
I think what happened to Ryan
all the time.
I think what happened to Ryan is conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory is that as soon as he placed his order, the camera saw his plate, he got ID'd, and someone at the NSA is like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna mess up this food order."
Yeah, that's what I say. I agree.
Get
this is why
supporter.
We're team Hype Man.
Trump supporter.
Yeah. Hashtag no breadsticks, no peace.
That was in Texas.
Hashtag fuck up Ryan.
Well, I think it was in Georgia. It's funny because when I was driving back, I fucking saw that same goddamn Fazoli's, and I saw the sign for it, and I almost wanted to stop again. Like, and then I had to remind myself that that's the one that just fucked up my shit, so I
You
didn't.
should have went back and been like, "Hey, I was here like a day ago, and you fucked up my breadsticks. You didn't even give them to me, you motherfuckers. I have proof on stream."
They did give it to me after I bitched about it, but yeah. Liam Neeson's chin says, "I love your content. You're what a lot of us. You say what a lot of us are thinking." Well, there you go. I'm glad.
Liam Neeson's chin.
Yeah, Liam Neeson's chin. I'm glad. Glad it resonates with you, Liam. And I see Hollywood Scholar here as well. What's up, man? Good to see you, buddy. Oracle of Doom for 222 says, "Hail RK Nation. Hail Oracle of Doom." Appreciate it. Now, we got some stuff to talk about, and we might as well start off with a little bit of Lord of the Rings, because I actually was only reminded of it when we were about to do the stream, is that we were sitting here, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. I actually have no idea what the time frame was.
It was
Mike.
in July.
July? There you go.
I'm almost certain it was either, it had to have been, because I had just moved here and set up my gaming station on the other side of the room. We were live streaming. It was member stream. It was either July or August for sure. It was either July, but I think it was July, but it was July or August for sure.
Maybe September? Was it maybe September?
Could have been
It
then.
might have been September, because I think I was a part of that stream, and of course
You were,
Chris
yeah.
Sherman and Storyman.
Heath, you were definitely on the stream with us. Yeah, for sure.
And I remember you
And
and
Storyman
Storyman
Jack, and Jack was there too.
Yeah, I remember.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was spilling
Man.
his heart out for that series. Can I blame you though? Can I really blame you?
Your audio's popping a bit, Heath. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe unplug
I
and
don't
like
know.
replug your headphones in or something.
Yeah, or I could just back out and come back in.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
maybe
actually-
try both of them. Yeah.
I actually think it was Jack that calmed me down after I went off on my rant, because I think he said it best then. I mean, what I basically said is that these guys have no idea what they're messing with, because, and I've said this other places in the last couple of weeks, like on Midnight Sage and Tom's channel Meat and stuff, but it's like, you know, some of the hardcore Star Wars fans usually weren't the most hardcore Star Trek fans. The most hardcore Star Trek fans usually weren't the most hardcore Star Wars fans. You know, you have other people that were into different things, Doctor Who, Battlestar Galactica, yada yada, and certainly there's overlap. But there's one thing that binds almost everybody, which is that regardless of, and I said this then, I'll just briefly repeat it now without trying to lose my mind. But what cuts across generations, it cuts across countries, languages, and what cuts across all these fandoms is almost everybody started either in book. Well, everybody started with these books, one way or the other. And in my case, that first book was what really made me fall in love with like English as a language and wanted to. I mean, I ended up double majoring in English literature in my undergrad, and you know, that led to so many other fandoms. So when I think, you know, when these guys are screwing with this thing, they're screwing with something that we all have in common. And more importantly, is that it cuts across so many different demographics. I mean, I know Christians, Catholics, Jews, atheists, Muslims, I know people of all religious faiths, generations that love this stuff. My God, my niece, who's a kid, is in love with the books. And fell in love with the books after seeing all the movies, which came out when she was like barely toddlerish, you know what I mean? So I think these guys have no idea. And what Jack said after I went on my thing, like, I don't know if it was 5 minutes or 20 minutes, it felt like an hour at the time I rant. But I think Jack said it best on that stream, is he said that there's something about these books that makes us love stories. And I can't remember, Jack. I mean, I'll just turn the mic over to you right now, because I just think you really said it best on that stream.
Well, these stories, they touch everybody. You know, that there's a universal truth that everybody recognizes when they, you know, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, even, you know, like Wheel of Time and things like that. These things are embedded in us. They're telling us stories of truths we already know in our subconscious. And that's what links us together. It's like every American, whether you're left or right, has one thing that we know that's in our subconscious is our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. We can argue about what those things mean, but that's something that binds us together. You know, just like if you, for instance, the series that I'm writing now, it is basically I'm retelling the story of Adam and Eve through a science fiction tale. And even if you've never read the story of Adam and Eve, you know it because it's in our subconscious. They don't understand that you cannot change that. There are rules. Unfortunately, it's like physics. You cannot change the hero's journey. If you try, you're going to fail every time. And all they're doing is throwing, just like they did with Rise of Skywalker, a bunch of flashy stuff, diversity, all these keywords, because they don't want you to understand that they've veered away from that universal truth.
Yep, that's the basic idea. And hopefully my mic is much better. Is it, Ryan?
Yeah.
Before I go
It
on.
sounds bad. It's popping a little bit, but it's okay.
Okay, but like it kind of goes back to this whole political climate that's going on right now, and people are like, "Oh, we need to get rid of the Constitution because of diversity and all that." I'm like, okay, and then replace it with what? It's the same thing with the whole Lord of the Rings and the whole Star Wars BS. It's like, oh, we want to include all this stuff. It's like either you make a new series or you try replacing something that shouldn't be replaced to begin with. It's just they're walking a tightrope in a sense, and they're falling off 99% of the time.
Well, I think Jeremy D-Day Cobra retweeted a tweet where they're like, somebody said, I never saw anywhere where he described the races. I'm like,
oh yeah.
All right, so either you've never read it, you watched a movie and you've never read it, or you're deliberately trying to make yourself sound stupid to prove a point you don't have.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I retweeted that actually.
Yeah.
That was here. Yeah, this is Josiah actually did this.
Yeah, it was Josiah, and he commented on Josiah.
Yeah, so let me quarter black. So this is Josiah says Lord of the Rings is in this cycle. Take over franchise, remove everything unique and appealing, insult fans, experience short-term success with normies. Normies leave, apathy kicks in, franchise dies, take over another beloved franchise. This guy says, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Tolkien never, not once, described what any of his characters looks, which isn't really a sentence.
Holy
Other than the hobbits having large feet, but otherwise we have no idea what elves look like or dwarves. Tolkien hated Christopher Tolkien hated the Lord of the Rings movies. That part's kind of true, but Josiah retweets him. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. 3 Lord of the Rings character descriptions in a row, and it's true. It's Gandalf, shorter in stature than the other 2, but his long white hair, his sweeping silver beard, his broad shoulders made him look like some wise king of ancient legend. In his aged face, under great snowy brows, his dark eyes were set like coals. Glorfindel was tall and straight. His hair was of shining gold. His face fair and young and fearless and full of joy. His eyes were bright and keen. His voice like music. On his brow sat wisdom, and his hand was strength. The face of Elrond was ageless, neither old nor young, though it was written the memory of many things both glad and sorrowful. His hair was dark as the shadows of twilight, and upon it was set a circlet of silver. His eyes were gray as a clear evening, and in them was a light like the light of stars. Like literally 3 paragraphs in a row where he's in detail describing the way that some of these characters look.
Well,
So-
I mean, that's the thing you have to do with books. There's no visual medium, so you have to be descriptive about what your characters look like in order for people to picture them.
Yeah,
well, these are the same people writing for Disney. I mean, they don't think they for some reason, I don't know if there was some sort of planar shift or something. All of a sudden, nobody wants to put any work into anything. You know what I mean? They don't want to put any work into it. They just want to get a paycheck. They don't care about what they produce, and they'll say whatever they have to say to make a buck.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Or make up something that they think might make a buck that fits in line with their
You got to think, how hard would it? How much easier would it be to simply just readapt the books that already exist into a script? It's already written for you. All you got to do is retype it out. That would be incredibly lazy, and yet they still don't do it.
Well, I get
That's
it. There's certain things you can't adapt into a movie.
Well,
You know,
even like for Peter Jackson, like there's a lot of criticism over some certain things, but you know, it's things that were kind of contrary to what Tolkien wrote. Like the Balrog was much bigger, like than it was described. But it was, you know, the reason that was done that way was likely to inspire the same amount of fear and desperation, you know, that you had in that moment in the books, right? So, you know, yeah, that's an inaccuracy, but it was because they were doing truly what they felt like the books were trying to go for, and like make it appear on screen as scary as that could possibly be.
Well, yeah,
anytime
I remember the same things because as a kid, I got really into John Grisham law thrillers because my mom read those, and after reading The Lord of the Rings, it naturally like translated over to the law novels because John Grisham writes in much of the same way that Tolkien did. Because my stepdad said it best. He said, Tolkien will describe every leaf and every blade of grass in the forest, whereas Grisham will describe every plank of wood leading up to the courtroom.
Yeah.
Read Stephen King sometime. He spent an hour describing somebody brushing his teeth.
That's my stepdad's favorite author is Stephen King.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's like an art. It's funny that these people are saying that because one of the things we've heard for a long time about Tolkien was that his books are just too dense. He takes too long to describe something. You know what I mean? Like that's what I've heard about people that are trying to get into it before.
So if you go back and you read other things from that era,
what is this?
This is what that guy thinks those characters look like. Okay. After all that description, this is what he thinks. This is clearly Gandalf, as you can see a wizard hat. This is Elrond. He's got the circlet, and this is the other one.
Well, you know, there's a certain percentage of people that have no inner monologue and can't picture anything inside their minds, right? That's what we're dealing with here. These are people that literally can't see things inside their head. They have no imagination, literally.
I would say they're handicapped, but
that being the case, why do you think costume designers exist? Why do you think set designers exist? Why do you think there are all these myriad different jobs that go into making movies and TV shows where basically it's someone's specific job to translate a certain portion of it? All the director has to do is guide all of that process. They don't have to do it themselves.
No, they're the head manager.
Exactly. Well, there's a point that anytime you adapt anything, there's going to be certain amount of differences because of interpretation. The problem with that is that they use that as an excuse, interpretation, to say whatever they want to say to tell their story by hijacking somebody else's, because they know their story is not going to be successful. They have to piggyback on somebody else's.
That's what happens when the message becomes more important than the story.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But if you go back and you read, there was a shift kind of toward the 70s, late 70s, with the way we wrote. When we read stories from back before that, like Lord of the Rings, it's heavy narrative, heavy description, it's trying to put you into it like it's a movie. Now, if you read a modern day novel, it's full of dialogue and action. There's hardly any description. It relies on the reader to fill in the blanks, and that's so people can read through faster. This is an outgrowth, I believe, of all those kids when we were kids that didn't want to read a book if it was more than an inch thick. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it could be true. Yeah, I think that it just depends. Go ahead.
I think Jack's right. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just in general, the way that we as a society consume entertainment continues to be more and more, we need it right now, instantaneous, like as fast as we can. Right?
All that self-gratification stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm a victim of that myself, but it was just because there's so much out there. I used to my buddy used to come into the room, like the game room we had, and I had two TVs. One would have on like a sports game. I'd be playing video games on the other one. And then I had my phone out because I was listening to like a YouTube live stream. And I was like literally consuming all of it at the same exact fucking time. you know, because we're just go right now. And anymore, like, you know, audiobooks as well. Audiobooks gave another way, which I honestly think it opened up a big section of people that weren't consuming books. I think it opened them up to books, but it's not in the same medium, and it's not for them. It's not even the same as reading a book.
In my view, for some people, it is the same as reading a book. So you learn things different ways. Some people learn visually. Some people learn by reading. Some people learn by listening. And I mean, almost everything, I'd say everything I have on my Audible account, over 500 novels and stories. I've read the physical book, but I get more re-listening to it, especially when you hear, especially nowadays that they have good voice actors doing these things. You get more of people with, I can't even conceive people without an inner monologue, number one. But you get from the audio, you can get a visual. That's why I started, hey, look, I write the story in Word, but I voice all of it and I put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that's the medium that's going to be most accessible to people. I can sit here and write stories every single day. There's no place to put them. I can't publish them in magazines. They don't take stories anymore. They have staff writers now. And the few magazines that even exist anymore. So in order to break into writing, you either have to know somebody or have something very, very special that a person with the ability to do something with it happens to see or hear, and then happens to be able to put it through.
Well,
that's the only way.
I think it's like now I think it's pretty easy. Like you can even go through Amazon and get your book out. But unfortunately, the exposure, like, I could get a book to print, but it might sell 5 copies. Right. You know what I mean? So
sell them to my mom and dad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost more accessible now to get it printed than ever. However, that doesn't mean anything.
You still need
just
because
you get it printed. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's not the most efficient distribution method necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Not.
And I do think when it comes to like audiobooks, I love audiobooks, but there is something to actually reading and processing yourself. When I was going through and learning about different learning techniques for people don't actually remember a whole lot of what they consume. These are all averages, and it's different from person to person. But in general, people remember about 10% of what they hear, 20% of what they read, and about 30% of what they actually physically like show or read or teach to someone else. So I do think that in general, with such an audience that is now listening more so than reading, I do think that degrades a little bit maybe the experience for people in some ways.
It's funny you say that, because I found that I have a hard time listening to audiobooks that aren't like sort of like technical or self-help or motivational kind of stuff. You know, and I gotta have. I don't like even reading stuff digitally. I I just bought Rod Thunderheart. I don't know if you know who Rod Thunderheart is, but he wrote a book called See Through Love. I'm about 40 pages away from being done. You know, I like holding the book. I notice that when I hold the book, read a book, I retain more than when I'm like digitally reading a book. And I don't know what the hell. Maybe that's just me being.
Well, it's part of the muscle memory, right?
Well,
you've read so many books that it's become nature to you.
Also, you go back
while you're reading.
What do you mean, Patty? Like, what do you mean?
So, like, obviously, you know, it's muscle memory. Like, how long have you been reading books? Like, since you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
So you've gotten used to that repetitive motion of holding the book, flipping the page, and going through books like that. But you're not used to reading something off of a screen the way you would in a book. Exactly. What Biggles is doing there. It's become so second nature to you that it feels more natural to do that than to read off of a screen.
I love how comic books count now, and they didn't used to.
Well, this is manga. This is manga. So
well, same thing.
Have you ever tried to read a manga? You go backwards, and I'm always fucking lost.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't fucking read.
It's
that's why I use audiobooks. I can't fucking read. That's why there's all these pictures. Look at this.
I'm more of a story guy. So when I was a kid, I was discouraged from reading comics. You know what I mean? that was societal. You know, if you're going to be a writer, you need to stay away from that trash. You know, but I love now because there's so many great stories in comics that now I love Comicsgate because to me that's the beginning of a second wave of a new thing, and you know, I have some behind me, but yeah, I mean, people ask me, "Are you going to publish?" I'm like, I am on YouTube. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to make any money from it. I'm just writing. I'm doing what I want to do. I earn my money other ways, so I'm good.
Prostitution.
Yeah.
Storyman Jack is #1 prostitute in all of Texas.
Well, I didn't want to promote it here, but we're gonna launch Storyman Jack OnlyFans page. So
there you
go.
I'll be the first sub.
He's gonna do ASMR storytelling.
That's good. I wanted to, before we get too detached from it, we got a big super chat from Buford D Justice. Thank you very much, Buford. Appreciate it, man. For $50, says, "Hey Ryan, can you please tell Gaia to stop singing? She sounds worse than Az. Star Wars is dead." I imagine we're going to go through a couple of those very cringe videos today with these guys, but thank you, Buford. I'll try to let
Well, I mean,
Gaia
that's
know.
hardly fair. Az has the voice of an angel.
Yeah, like
That's
that's not real. That's a high bar you're trying to clear there. Also,
It's-
that final statement, Star Wars is actually dead, 100%.
Oh, it's been dead for a while.
It's been dead for a long time. People just don't
Well,
want to admit it.
I mean, at least he got 2 out of 3 right. You know.
It's not dead.
I think that
Star Wars isn't dead.
I think that Star Wars as something that is a franchise worth like caring about, as something that's original and unique and innovative, it is dead. But I do think that the Disney Star Wars brand is going to continue on because it's captivated too many fucking normies. This Baby Yoda bullshit, this Return of Luke Skywalker bullshit. There are people that'll try to justify it any way they can, and they keep coming back to it because of that. So even though people did not like the fucking sequels, I think they've won some fans back over with the Filoni and Favreau stuff enough to continue on. Book of Boba Fett had more viewers than End of Mando season 2.
Well,
That actually makes me depressed.
I still have the movies, the original movies. I still have the EU. It's not dead to me. That's where I live. That's where I stay. My kids and generations, whatever, they can be misinformed by Disney or whatever, but I still have that grouping of that story.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm a Bantam guy. I will always be a Bantam guy. Yeah. So for me, Star Wars has been on life support since basically the prequels.
Yeah, there you go. Real quick, this is an important Yellow Flash 2 for $5 update. Mr. Obvious is okay. Yes, so if you guys didn't know, if you're subbed to Yellow Flash or follow him on Twitter, we were a little bit worried about Mr. Obvious for a while there. It didn't sound like he was in a very good mental state. But I did see, I actually retweeted that tweet that he just put out recently. He put a statement on his YouTube page as well. He's okay, which is a good thing. But
yeah, I remember Jeremy from the Quartering did a video about it, so that's how I got wind of it.
Yeah, that's how I heard of it.
Yeah, Yellow Flash put a video up on YouTube. Quartering put one out on Twitter today. Actually, Quartering might have done a YouTube one too. But either way, very good news that he's back and that he's okay. So we were worried about him. But yeah, continue it. Patty hates the prequels.
I don't hate them. There's so many contradictions between them and what came before them. It's kind of hard to consider them the same franchise, essentially.
We've had this argument a lot, and I don't think it's that difficult to.
Well, I think the Halcyon family throws a huge monkey wrench into a bunch of shit that George wanted to do.
Well, I agree, but that's like one outlier. You know what I mean?
It's a pretty big killer
in a Jedi Order that's like 10,000 knights strong or whatever.
Yeah.
20,000 actually.
I just mean as numbers. A pillar of the EU. The whole Cornhorn storyline, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big foundational element.
Well, and that story specifically also has the timeline much different. But even in its own story, the timeline doesn't really make sense when you think about his grandfather and
in
then
a sense.
his
Well, because
father
I mean,
and everything.
essentially, his dad was about the same age as Anakin. Give or take a couple years. So when his grandfather died, that would have been about the time that Anakin joined the Jedi Order.
Yeah, but it was like because they referenced the Clone Wars and shit in that, and it was like well before everything.
They
I
did,
mean,
they
the
was.
timeline was off.
So
and
what
then
you got to
George came along
understand,
and upped the timeline.
the thing about iJedi and the whole Corran Horns story, they didn't expect him to take off as such a popular character as he did.
Mm.
They really did.
I don't think George expected that out of a lot of characters.
Right.
In the EU.
And I mean, he's my favorite EU character, Corran Horn is. I mean,
yeah, I love
it.
Just look at
iJedi is my favorite book.
Just look at the pre-2002 Boba Fett storyline. There was a huge amount of character development that went into that, and people loved that character. And then George just basically killed it with Attack of the Clones.
But in terms of Star Wars overall, I'm pretty black-pilled on it, honestly. Not just the state of it in general, but the reaction from a fandom. Since the firing of Gina Carano, since the dog shit they've been putting out, I just don't feel like... I feel like the people that have come back to it and that are supporting it, like that's... What else do they need? Why would they change anything?
I won't even hate watch that stuff. I won't give Disney a dime.
Disney Star Wars, 100% on board.
So I'll be the first to adopt the flag of being a hardcore Arcade Nation supporter and a fucking moron because I watched that shit. No, I'm serious. I mean, hey, I was on that live stream that week and everything went down. And I was the first to say, hey, I own fucking moron over here because I'm kind of like a glass half. Not half full. I'm more of a tequila bottle half full kind of guy in general, and that's how I look at a lot of shit. So I was actually kind of hopeful and shit, and then I got my ass kicked, by watching that stuff, and I knew better, and I shouldn't have. I didn't want to fucking watch it. I knew better than to watch any of the Boba Fett, but I dragged myself, and maybe I actually had a little simpy little diversity moment for Robert fucking Rodriguez. The motherfucker who basically Ryan, I have officially revoked Robert Rodriguez's whatever Star Wars fandom he think he is. I have revoked. Look, my helmet's falling apart. I'm starting to rant. I just broke my helmet.
His helmet's falling off because he's simping so much.
I was simping for Robert Rodriguez. I'm like, okay, now look, I never thought he was gonna say fucking Star Wars. All right, me and Latino Slant got into that and shit, and I never thought he was gonna say it. But I said, you know what? I'll give this fucking, I'll give this brown cracker a shot. So he fucked it up, and then it got a little better, and then it sucked me in, and then I finished watching it only to be disappointed like a motherfucker. And now I am completely done. I was done before, and I knew better, Ryan, but fuck. They turned
Boba Fett into a good guy, didn't they?
Yeah,
they turned him into a moron.
That's kind of what I heard.
And you know what? And frankly, I'm gonna say it because I'm the brown guy on the panel. Don't give Mexican a fucking Star Wars thing to do without some fucking proper white oversight. I mean, even Alita. I mean, look, even Alita with James Cameron. Like James Cameron was micromanaging that guy. Now you want no budget, no time to shoot, fucking shaky cam, move fast, a little machete action, a little Spy Kids. Give that to Robert Rodriguez. Star Wars, something requires actual decent storytelling and with some, like Jack says, some meticulous concern for what is the hero's arc and all that. No. I am officially taking the brown dudes off the table. No.
What's funny is my son talked me into watching the first episode with him. And I'm like, he would have shot that dude. He would have just killed that dude. What?
Yeah.
Is that the one that demanded tribute from him or whatever?
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, I'm like, he would have just shot him dead.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
So, that
Ryan, I almost threw a fucking cell phone at my HD 4K TV. Like, as much as you got pissed off about breadsticks, I had episodes like that. I don't do shit with my channel, but what I probably should have done is I probably should have recorded myself watching that shit, if for no other reason than to turn the tapes over to you and use them on Arcade Channel.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You told me so. Ryan told me so. I'm sorry, Pay. Ryan told me so. I knew better. I should know better. I was a fucking moron. And, here we are. Go ahead.
At this point, you've got 3 main versions of Star Wars. You've got Bantam Star Wars, you've got Del Rey Star Wars, and you've got Disney Star Wars. 2 of those can be saved. One of them cannot.
Which one's George?
I disagree.
Well, George is part of all of them.
I don't think you can split it up like that. I think that you have. I think that you actually have 3. Yeah, I'll say you have 3, but I would say it's a little different. I would say you have the movies, right? You have the movies. Then you have the EU. I'm combining Bantam and Del Rey. I don't care about you fucking Bantam tryhards, all right? Like I'm combining them. The EU as a whole, and then you have Disney Star Wars.
Yeah. And a 4th one, the video games, because those are different too.
No, this falls in the EU.
No, yeah, that's EU.
Oh, whatever. Fuck it. They're better. They're better than the EU.
It's all
okay?
EU.
Don't worry. KOTOR's getting ruined. Just you wait.
Oh yes.
I heard.
They got
Sam
Sam
Mags.
on that writing team.
wacko.
She's not working on it anymore.
I thought they fired that wacko biatch.
She says she quit, but they didn't say they fired her. I don't know what happened. But
I still don't trust
when
them.
your shit turns purple and smells like a rainbow sherbet.
I still don't trust them with it.
No, me neither. Absolutely. But it was interesting. It was interesting that she's not, for some reason, she's just suddenly not working on it anymore, where she seemed so excited to announce that she was part of it. She seemed a little bit bitter. So there's something going on, but. Yeah.
Even though in 2019 she said KOTOR wasn't even close to her favorite Star Wars game.
I will say that, like, she did say it wasn't her favorite game. But there's another tweet that people were using against her that was clearly kind of a joking manner, which I will give that to her. That was a joke. But yeah, she's a fucking activist. She's a loser. She's a woke fucking idiot, and I'm glad she's not working on it. But you don't need to rewrite anything. Why do you need any writers in this fucking game?
Just give me a better looking version of it with a 1-to-1 remake everywhere else, and
give it the Halo 2 treatment.
You'll get all the nerds' money. Trust me.
Seriously, just give it the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition treatment.
Bingo.
Redo all the visuals, redo all the voice acting, and just do that.
I agree.
Shit, you might not even have to redo a lot of the voice acting.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends what those audio files and I guess how good they would be now, 20 years later. If you,
I just mean the way they synced up the audio to the facial. Animations. Like
you know what's really messed up. What's really messed up is that I've been a member for a year and 3 months, something like that, and I was a patron before that, and we're talking about the same shit back when I joined.
Yeah,
they're never going to stop doing this to us. They just aren't.
Yeah, I think that, and the question that I always like to propose to people who think that everything's going to change is why. Like, what would motivate them to retcon the sequels? Because if you did that, you'd piss off a certain percentage of the fan base. Because as much as we think that they're absolutely worthless and useless, you can't deny that there are fans of that there are people that are invested in that.
Oh my God. I got a real life story that was horrific when I went back to California. And so I had been telling my little sister, because I flew out before Christmas, and I was out there for 6 weeks. And I told my little sister, who's a lot younger than me, I said, you can have anything you want. Fucking Ryan, guess what? She says, I want to go to Disneyland Galaxy's Edge. I was like, oh, fuck me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, can you ask me for anything else? She's like, you said I could ask for anything. I mean, she's growing a kid and all that stuff. But, to me, I'm like, all right, fine. Let's fucking go. Right? So we went. And when you see in person, you ride Rise of the Resistance, all this other shit. When you as mediocre as Galaxy's Edge is, when you see the investment they've got in this thing, which I said this on a couple of live streams that I'm not going to name here, but I said on a couple of live streams that got a shitload of hate for it. But when you see, I'm an accountant. When you see the capital expenditures that's gone into the sequel trilogy shit, it ain't going anywhere for 10, 15, 20 years at a fucking minimum, number one. And number two, is that my sister, my own flesh and blood, she likes the sequel shit, and I'm like, how the hell can you like this? She says, I just do because it's Disney. I'm
it's
like,
Star Wars. It has lightsabers. It has blasters. Like that's all some people are looking for. And when you went to Galaxy's Edge, how long were the fucking lines to buy a dumb droid or a fucking lightsaber or all this shit? You know what I mean? Like they're fucking making money there, whether we like to admit it or not. So what would be their motivation to change it? It would make us happy if they retconned everything and started from scratch. But it also would alienate a segment of the fan base that they already have. Yep. There is no motivation for them, especially when you still get some people that hated it watching Mandalorian, watching Bad Batch, and watching Book of Boba Fett. Like, why would you change?
Well, I ain't watching no Bad Batch. F that little
Filoni has enough supporters that they can carry the franchise forever, pretty much.
That's what I ran into when I went back home for Christmas. Was my stepbrothers were like, or like my family was like, you don't like Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau? I'm like, no, Mandalorian sucked. It was boring.
I like Jon Favreau.
So here's what my father told me.
I don't like Star Wars, so we're good.
Jack, Hollywood has always wanted the message before anything else. Always.
Yep.
Used to, the studio heads kept them in check. Now those people are in charge of the studios and they have carte blanche. So they're going to do whatever they're going to do. Exactly. It doesn't matter because even if something loses money, they have enough investments from foreign entities and other entities that it isn't going to matter to them. They're still going to get paid. They're still going to keep going. It's a machine that can't be stopped.
Yep. And that in itself, when you apply that back to comics, that's why anime is on like a massive boom right now, is because these people that make the anime, they make the mangas, they're understanding like, we want to inspire people. We want to touch, the individual that reads our material. And that's why whenever they get criticism from these morons here in the West, they're like, don't listen to it. We'll take care of them. You continue making, magic. And it's really, that's why anime and manga have been in a massive boom, because comics, they're just like, we need to lecture people all the time.
Yeah,
I will provide a word of warning when it comes to purchasing manga. You need to be careful with English localizations because those still go through Western entities.
Yeah.
Yes. That is, if it goes through anything in the West, then don't read it. And it will have telltale signs for sure.
Oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it right away, but you still need to look for it because some of them are getting pretty subtle with it.
That's why I just, don't read manga. I just don't want to take the risk. Don't want to accidentally be tricked. So, and I also don't like how that it's backwards. X-Wing says, Ryan, I give it less than a year until something changes the parks and hotels. Well, I mean, do you mean like parks and hotels in general in terms of Disney? Because people are so upset that they're essentially going, little service, maximum profits. I don't know. Like the profits that they saw.
Like sequel shit doesn't sell. I'm going to give you an example of how it does sell. Here, check this out. So Rise of the Resistance. So you guys all familiar with how the parks work, right? You pay one fee to get into the park. Then you can get on the Genie app, and then you can buy what's called Lightning, right? You get your Lightning lane, right? And for Rise of the Resistance, it's $20 a head. I took 6 people. All right. And now, did I want to give Disney my money? No, it's my little sister. But we paid $120 just to go to the front of the line. And let me tell you this much. Everybody and their mother, like from the time that we requested it, we still had to wait. Even with that, we still had to wait an hour and a half before we could do our Lightning Lane. That means there's 90 minutes worth of people coughing up more money. So when someone says a sequel trilogy doesn't make money, well, obviously right now people are writing $6,000 checks too. Right now people are still going to Disney. People aren't like not boycotting the shit. People are watching The Mandalorian. People watching, Boba Fuck. Not Boba. I was calling it Beta Fed. Now I call it Boba Fuck because I'm so effing. See, it's what Ryan said. And look, this is a tough realization for me to come to. this is a tough reality for me to come to because I'm like I said, I'm a tequila bottle half full kind of guy. I'm like Storyman Jack. I'm gonna hold on to that old Star Wars that I love because I do love it. I've actually I never was a big Star Wars gamer, even though I've done a lot of gaming in my life. I never got so now I'm like going to the Knights of the Old Republic. I just bought, a bunch of shit that I'm gonna play, old shit.
Oh,
You
yeah.
better have the Force Unleashed in there.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
yeah.
Force Unleashed 2 came today, and the other one I'm waiting for.
Force Unleashed is fine, but I mean, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast is really
yeah.
So where your lightsaber isn't necessarily just a baseball bat.
Here's the,
Bounty Hunter.
here's the only thing
Bounty
that
Hunter's
could have.
good.
The only thing that could have saved. The only thing that could have saved Star Wars was when George sold it, he had a clause in the contract that he had final approval. That's it. That's the only thing that could have saved it.
That could have helped.
Well, I mean, it
Why
would have
didn't he
helped, but
exploit
if he
it?
just didn't sell it, I think that would have been easier.
Or if he did sell it, but he appointed someone who actually cared about the story. Like, he had to know that Kathleen had no interest in the story of Star Wars.
But if that's
There's
the
no
case,
way he
then-
didn't know that.
If that's the case, then why didn't he exploit that clause like to the T?
He did.
Well, he
What do you
probably
mean?
didn't have it in there.
No,
he
he
didn't
didn't.
have it in there.
He should have. He should.
What he's
have.
saying
Should
is
have.
that's what it should have.
Oh,
That's what he should have done. Yeah.
So somebody asked me.
Okay.
They said, "Really, if somebody drove up with a dump truck full of money and said, 'We want your story to make a movie out of it, but we get to change whatever we want,' I wouldn't sell it."
There you go.
What about for $4 billion?
That's the.
No.
I mean, there's a
Yes.
temptation is a temptation for a reason. But if I did sell it, it wouldn't have my name on it.
Well, like for $4 billion, I mean, if I already had $3 billion, probably not.
Right.
But like now, yeah, fucking sell my soul for $4 billion. Jesus Christ. I'm not
And I
gonna
mean,
lie.
The sequel stuff does sell, and it's not that it doesn't sell. It's how much more could it sell if
Correct.
it were good.
They don't
Well
care about
said.
that though. They
Well
don't care about
said.
that.
And so X-Wing is clarifying the Star Wars stuff. It will not last as far as the parks go. You know what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna find a way to put like the Mando stuff in there, to put Baby Yoda in there, to sell Baby Yoda, to put the Mandalorian in there. But
Baby
that's
Yoda
not,
Yoda sells.
but
How-
that to me is not.
I'm in shock
That's
that
not.
there's
That's
not
not fixing it. I
Right.
think that stuff is dog shit, and it all connects
yeah.
to the sequels.
I'm in
It's just
I'm in
weird.
shock there's not a Baby Yoda ride in the kiddie area like in Fantasyland kind of thing,
Well, and to go to that point, all those people are saying, "Oh, they're gonna just let the Disney trilogy fade away." Blah blah blah, whatever. I saw those images of Luke that everybody was like, "Oh, Luke's back! Like, it's so good." Blah blah blah. It's the same place that got destroyed and that we saw in The Last Jedi. It's all going right back to that trilogy, and it always will.
Well, especially now that you saw at the end of Boba Fett, Baby Yoda is now back with the Mandalorian. He's not training at the academy, so
I'll be honest. I fucking laughed my ass off. I had this big smile on my face when that happened because it's just like they got everybody. Like they got everybody thinking that they were going to do this. You don't think that they realized when they made that scene that there would be people out there that were trying to say, this is when the retcon happens. This is the moment that it happens, guys. And then they didn't do it. And they didn't even show him making the fucking decision. You don't think that they knew that when they made this shit? That's how little they fucking care. Your retcon theory sucks. Where's Ryan Johnson holding that up? Like, your retcon theory sucks.
And this is the problem that the fandom has made. Doomcock made it. A lot of other people made it. They are assuming these people are stupid because they've put out crap. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. And they're doing it on purpose. So it's never going to stop and it's never going to go away. Not until another generation of people get up there and take over and start doing things correctly. And that's the way it works. Things go in cycles, and that's the way it's going to be.
There you go. And X-Wing says, I hate the sequels, but I'll still ride that bitch, the Rise of Resistance.
Same.
The Rise of Resistance, like, from everything I've heard about it, the ride's pretty cool. It never fucking works, but it's pretty cool.
It is absolutely the most outstanding ride I've ever been on in my entire life. And I've been on a fuckload of them.
Huh.
at a lot of different parks. It is absolutely, now the storyline sucks. It makes me want to puke, but the few moments of the video, I mean, there's like maybe like a total of 2 or 3 minutes of video on the whole thing that makes me want to puke. But other than that, it's a phenomenal ride. I mean, I can't deny it. I can't lie. It was.
Yeah. Anthony Norris sent a couple super chats earlier for $10. Says, Ryan, do you buy movies digitally or physically? Typically, when I buy stuff, I buy it physical. I would say probably 80 to 90% of the time. Now, I mean, I stream a lot of stuff. So I don't buy nearly as many movies or TV shows or whatever now as I did 10 or 15 years ago. Because so much is streaming nowadays. But when it comes to video games, I'm kind of the same. I think I do 80 to 90% of my games are physical. I just picked up my copy of Elden Ring physical. So I'm usually a physical media guy. And
well,
then
I would be if games were physical on PC anymore.
Oh, I know. That is the horrible thing anymore. Even if you buy like a physical case, you just get like a game code.
Yep.
I don't even have a CD drive in my computer.
No, I don't think anybody does anymore.
I've got one in my old rig, but my new one doesn't have one.
Nowadays it comes like you can buy like a $20 like USB like attachable thing for it if you really want to use it.
Yeah, I paid $3,000 for this laptop and it didn't have one.
There we go.
Jesus.
We've got another guest. I wasn't expecting him, but he's here. I think this is going to be the first time on this stream. We've got the man.
Let's
Ruben,
get the drum roll.
Christopher Haynes. Look at that. Boom.
Thank you. I'm here. Rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. I'm alive.
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Basically, my first day out in Orlando. I got a car yesterday, and then I just went out and just enjoyed the day. So it was fun.
Hell yeah, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. If you guys don't know, this is Ruben. I met Ruben we met in Vegas, which was absolutely awesome. And he's recently made the trip. And I saw you in Chicago as well when I passed through Chicago. And he's recently moved from Chicago, escaped Lori Lightfoot, and he is now down here in the great state of Florida. So good to see you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Get out.
Welcome to the Southeast.
I know, but it was fun. I loved walking into a CVS and not having to put a damn mask on.
Yeah, baby.
I love going into a bar and it was packed and it was just nice to sit down, have a drink, have some wings, and just not have to worry about it.
Yep.
My mom's visiting from Southern California for 2 weeks, and she's been here already now the first week, and she's just like, "Is this what freedom's like?"
Yeah, but what was really scared me was watching sports. Every commercial was woke. It was sick. It was so sad.
I stopped watching football because of that. It's just
I was watching it going, what? Like women can you can do it. You're strong. You're this and that. Okay, fine, whatever.
Man, I stopped watching football because no one could fucking tackle anybody.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not just sports. It's every commercial nowadays.
Yeah, every commercial was woke, and it was just like, nah, this is why I don't watch TV anymore. I'd rather spend my good money with you fine gentlemen, and again, supporting you all, like me, like what I'm doing. I'm basically like I'm getting off my ass, trying to push myself, working with the doctors to just get rid of this condition I have, and I'm gonna do it. So,
hell yeah. Well, yeah, you're going to do your entire journey on your channel too, and document.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I started 2 days ago, and I've been putting videos up. And today I'm going to do it again. So it's basically being truthful, weighing myself, showing you exactly what I eat and what I'm doing. I'm walking, I'm pushing myself. It hurts like shit, but again, I don't care because I'm going to push myself. I'm going to walk into that meetup in October and stand up. I'm going to dance and have some fun. I'm going to get rid of this thing.
I've been diabetic since, I was diagnosed in 2008. Last month, my doctor officially told me I was no longer diabetic.
Hell yeah.
Keto.
That's fucking awesome.
Congratulations, Jack. You rock. That's excellent, brother.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's freaking
my grandfather.
Now
my
weigh
grandfather
about.
did that. That's
I'm
cool.
working on it. I'm working on it, as you can see.
Yep.
Ruben got so excited about that he got frozen. Just frozen with his thumbs up. He got so excited.
I went from 398 to 175.
Wow.
In the
Wow,
course
that
of
is
5
impressive.
years. Yeah.
That's still impressive.
Now I'm back up to about 185 because I'm eating well again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. That's inspiring, and that's what everybody can do. You put the grind in, you put the time in. So
I think before the meetup in Orlando, I'm going to go on keto for like 2 months because I've done it before and I know I can do it, but I'm getting fat and I hate myself.
Well, the trick with keto is not to go on it for long term. You do it for 2 or 3 weeks.
That's why I was going to do it for like 2 months and then back.
I did it for like 2 or 3 weeks and then ate normally for a week and then went back on it for 2 or 3 weeks.
It's like interval training for your fat cells.
Yep.
But that's the thing. That is the thing with keto, though. Like, if you stick to it, it works very effectively because keto, what you're doing is you're effectively retraining your body because what your body wants to do, its normal state, it wants to burn carbs first, then it wants to burn fat, and then it will burn protein. But what you train your body to do when you eat keto, when you're eating essentially no carbs and a relatively high fat diet, is you are literally making your body start to burn fat as the primary source. So it makes you drop weight really quickly once your body gets in that. However, it's not your natural state. So as soon as you go off of it, as soon as you like eat carbs again, your body goes back to its like normal standard. And you have to kind of restart the training process over again, which is why when people get off it, then try to get back on it, they get sick as fuck because their bodies all get all screwed up. So.
That happened to me after I got my knee surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, because of my age and everything, they told me not to stay on it for more than 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Makes sense.
So I don't know. I never even heard of keto before my specialist recommended it, and it just worked for me. So now I have to learn how to quit smoking, which is going to be even harder than sugar, I think.
Just throw it out the window.
Do you smoke cigarettes?
I've been smoking cigarettes since I was 9 years old. So,
oh my God,
I'm almost 50. So,
yeah, you got a head start there.
That's 75 years.
Oh.
In that situation, you can't even imagine yourself without a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like if I imagine myself
literally
having
been your life, yeah.
If I imagine myself having a conversation with somebody outside, I have a cigarette in my hand. It's just the way it is.
Anthony Norris with a couple more super chats says, "Hey Ryan, do you think Marvel can be redeemed? Not by Disney.
No.
Not by Disney.
No.
That's what I'll say." And then Anthony for another 5 says, "I guess all this COVID shit's over and done with." Yeah, it turns out once war starts in Europe, then nobody talks about COVID. But there still are some people. There were some people that were very worried about the Ukrainians huddled together in the subway that they might not be vaccinated.
Oh Lord!
Those tweets were
a laugh.
Do you know what I did when I found out that he invaded? What? I sent out a tweet that said, "I'm going to sit right here on my John. I'm going to listen to my audio stories, and I'm going to order more ammo." That's how I'm going to react.
You know what I did when I heard the news? I pulled a Joe Burrow and smoked a cigar. I'm like, well, no turning back now.
Hell yeah.
There you go. I like that. Look at that. Mexican Iron Man.
That's what's up, Mexican.
Not necessarily my caliber of choice, but still good to have.
I have a 45 caliber 1911, and I have a 45
Bingo.
caliber AR.
Ooh, I'll be
back to back.
Sadly, it's all about the great reset. It really is.
I mean, I think that, like, to me, the Russia-Ukraine thing, I think that everybody should defend themselves whenever someone infringes upon your property. So if I were Ukrainian, I'd be shooting every single fucking Russian that came close to my house, right? And it sucks. Whenever anything bad happens to anyone in the world, it sucks. Would never want that to happen. However, it is a part of life. I personally think that it's a Europe problem. And that's what it should remain, as a Europe problem.
Yep.
The only treaty we have with Ukraine is the one where Joe Biden got paid and his son got paid. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
Well, You know what? To be honest with you, there's not a ton of people watching, so I don't mind talking about this a little bit. Like, I don't fucking care about NATO.
No.
Yeah.
You know what
has
NATO
served
is?
its
It's a way
purpose.
it's a way for us to protect all of those fucking countries.
Yep.
Yeah,
And you know
fuck
what?
that.
If Russia fucking creeps into Poland and does one thing to some like little piece of Polish land, do I think that we should get involved in World War III because of that if it doesn't actually affect our security? No, I don't. And maybe that might make me bad because I don't think we should abide by a treaty that was written, fucking in the aftermath of World War II.
Well, and
I
they
think we
haven't
should get
abided by
involved.
their part of it. They haven't.
I think we should get involved in things when it makes sense for us to be involved.
I will say this, whether people want to agree with it or not. Joe Biden was kind of partly responsible for this, only because of the fact that he shut down our pipeline and was starting to give money to Russia for their pipeline. And all the European countries, they started following suit. So when Russia invades Ukraine, that put a lot of these European countries in a bad position because if they step in, they lose a good chunk of their oil because they're getting it all from Russia. So Joe Biden,
I just think it's hilarious.
It is.
We care about somebody else's border, but we don't care about ours.
You know what I think. If for the people out there that really want to do something to hurt and cripple Russia, start pumping oil in the Keystone Pipeline, start becoming more energy independent, and start helping other countries in Europe become more energy independent. Not with this fucking solar and wind garbage, nuclear power plants, more natural gas, and more pumping oil. Like that's
Absolutely.
what we have to do. That's how you cripple Russia, because Russia is like 50% of its economy is based on exporting oil and natural gas. That's it.
And to just, you guys remember what happened to us down here in Texas last year, right?
Oh yeah.
The reason it happened is because we were on 20% solar and wind, right?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't happen this year because we took ourselves back off of a lot of that.
Yeah,
that is true.
And just so you know, it's the first and second generation Texans that get the shrinkage in the cold weather, not us in January.
Also, the U.S. needs to annex Canada like ASAP.
Oh yeah, that's a quick
Why
way to
not?
save Canadians.
I'm not sure I want to do that. There's a lot of crazy people.
I think that could be arranged.
We got plenty of oil up north. You can take that.
We should just take all of Canada.
I mean, I want to go back to the whole getting involved in European issues. Our founding fathers preached non-interventionism. That was a founding ideology with
that all changed with World War II. It changed in World War II.
Unfortunately. Well, it changed with World War One.
Well, the thing with this stuff going on in Ukraine, I feel very bad for the Ukrainian people and what they're going through right now. But if the way that it's being portrayed right now in the media is that Ukraine is like America, that it's some just like bastion of freedom and democracy.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's the truth is it's Russia light. The truth is Ukraine, like the Ukrainian government, has been involved in a lot of scandals and a lot of corruption and a lot of censorship of media outlets, arresting political opponents. That's who Ukraine is. And a lot of the stuff you're seeing coming out right now in terms of whatever sides of things, if you see something come out that's painting Ukraine in a great light or painting Russia in a bad light or the inverse, just stop and fucking wait. Because the chances are it's political propaganda from both sides.
Well, and the other thing we have to understand, I've traveled all over the world. I was in the military. I've seen how everybody else lives, and I've seen examples of their governments. There is not a country on the planet like ours. There's not. And there hasn't been. Even the UK doesn't have free speech codified like we do.
Nope.
Nobody does.
Canada doesn't.
Nope. Nobody
I can
has
tell you
what we have.
Yeah, and I can tell you this much. If you think Ukraine's different than Russia, I'd say no. Having dated Russian chicks and Ukrainian chicks, they're both crazy.
any country
former Soviet Union.
Any country that has Slavics in it, it's going to be corrupt, no matter how you slice it.
Well,
just-
working on my fourth marriage, I'd have to agree with you, but I would make that a broader spectrum of women.
yeah, okay. I'll leave that.
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
And I would also say that, like, the idea of a foreign power sending military units into a sovereign country to try to destabilize their heads of state and install the government of their choosing. Please go back and look at what America has done in the past several decades.
70 years.
Are we as offended? Are we as offended by that? Is that different than? I do think it's somewhat different than what Russia's doing. But when you like break it down, you know, I just think there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily looking at this entire thing.
We created the Ayatollah.
balanced.
We created Saddam Hussein.
Yes.
We did all this.
Ortega, Gaddafi, all these things.
All of it.
It's all our
We
creation.
did that. Yep.
But speaking of, I think we were talking about them handing out machine guns and Second Amendment. This actually got put on Instagram today, which I thought was fucking awesome. So I'll share this out. This is from Big Daddy. We were up there with the Big Daddy Unlimited guys, and we got to shoot a fancy new trigger. Here's a little preview. You guys will get to see the whole thing soon. So there it is. That's just a sneak peek of what we got to do there. This trigger is pretty awesome. It's the new one that Big Daddy's putting out. They did a soft launch on Friday. I think we'll hear more about it in a couple days. But yes, and that's me shooting it.
Is it adjustable pound? Like, what's so special about that trigger? I have an AR-15. What's so special about it?
Yeah. So essentially, this is the new Graves trigger. If you heard of the wide open trigger from like several months ago, it's kind of something like that. It makes you fire a little bit faster is the bottom line.
Okay, so it's not binary, but what it does, it's not binary, right?
Well, what it does is it uses the biomechanics of you pulling the trigger to make you pull the trigger extremely fast. Yes,
The ergonomics.
exactly.
Oh, I've heard of this shit.
So it's not I'm firing like that's a semi-automatic.
Right.
So to quote the gun activists, it is a fully semi-automatic rifle with that trigger.
That might be a way to describe it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, from the sounds of it, it sounds like a speedball trigger. If anyone's ever played paintball,
Kind of, but that's like this though, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's two.
That's not what this is. This is basically kind of like if you hold it back, the trigger, like the trigger's popping out and you're popping it back in like as quick as you possibly could without even almost consciously realizing it. It's really awesome.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so like when you look at, hold on, I'll play it again without
Yeah, people nowadays are just too weak. Again, growing up, I'm 54. I'll be 54 in March. But we had gun racks, we had rifles, for kids, guns all over the place, laying out, not locked up.
What's really funny is that the gun laws are more lax than they were when I was a kid, and
so like if you can just watch my finger, you'll see my fingers actually moving a little bit. It's kind of tough to see, but you see my fingers actually moving.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's not full auto. It's just not. It's fully semi-automatic. That's a good point. That's a good point, Biggles. But yeah,
I'll have to look into that.
It's Big Daddy Unlimited launched it. We're gonna have more information. I have a really fucking awesome video to show you guys. Myself, Jeremy, and Jay were up there, so it's gonna be cool.
We're going out next weekend shooting all of ours.
Hell yeah!
Of course, for us, we just have 100 acres of empty land up in Oklahoma. We just go to and shoot.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Real quick, Anthony for $5 says, so basically every Marvel movie is connected via the multiverse now.
Basically.
I mean, I guess once they do Blade and maybe Wesley Snipes has a cameo, but maybe.
Oh man.
But I do think that basically everything, I guess Are they going to do Daredevil? Is Ben Affleck's Daredevil going to be part of the multiverse?
Oh God, no!
And
Please, no.
that would be awesome if he like runs into Charlie Cox's and he's just like, "Who the fuck are you? You're not Daredevil."
So I've got a genuine question, because we know this Blade is going to be PG-13, right? Like, is it? Do we really think this movie is going to make any money?
Probably not.
Nope.
Like,
Make
actually,
some
More
money.
than likely, no.
So I
because
think
I forgot it existed until just now.
Yeah.
Are they putting all the Netflix Marvel stuff on Hulu, or are they just going away?
Well, so the rights have reverted. I don't know if they're going to put them on Disney Plus or what they're going to do with them.
I thought they were going to put them on Disney Plus. As I thought what I heard.
I don't know. I'm not exactly
I just figured
sure.
they would go with Hulu because they're a little bit more racier than most Disney Plus content.
Yeah, probably because there's like sex scenes in them, so they'll probably be like, that has to go on Hulu, except in Canada, because I don't think Canada has it. And most of the shit on Hulu,
unless you have a VPN.
Most of the shit on Hulu is on Canadian on Canadian Disney Plus. I use my VPN for Canadian Disney Plus because it has better shows.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never tried. Fuck. I've never tried that before myself, but I have heard that when you use the VPN, you get a bunch of different shit. So, real quick, I wanted to talk about the Star Wars hotel a little bit.
The hotel.
I would love it. I would love it if you went and they forgot to put alien breadsticks on whatever the fuck is in the buffet.
They would probably fuck up my order. We'll just play this part here.
What the fuck is this?
Ryan, I not signed up for this shit.
I love how this guy's on his phone and then he realizes he's like, "Oh shit! I guess I should pretend that I care about this."
Dude.
Oh, hello.
You know, I just got off a Carnival cruise and the entertainment was so much better than this.
Look how fucking. Imagine paying $6,000 and showing up, and you have to sit and watch 30 minutes of this.
Oh God.
30 minutes?
I would have fucking.
There's no way. There's no way. I'd get up and walk out.
I imagine they have a little concert going on.
Since when did Disney start their affiliations with Pornhub?
I don't know.
Oh, is that what the logo was?
And of course, we've
I
got
guess.
Captain Keevan. We've got Captain Keevan here. Somehow she was able to get the jump on these two stormtroopers and is holding one blaster in each hand as she saves the day.
What you need to get the jump on is calling Jenny Craig.
Ooh. I have.
You have the option of siding with the first
Why
order.
does she sound like a ghetto Rosie O'Donnell?
I don't know.
I would have helped the First Order.
Is that Finn?
Maybe. It
That's
looks
the only
like a
version you get
short.
right now.
A short
Yeah, that's-
version.
So I want to ask Ryan, the Navy guy, real quick here. So let's just say this is supposedly a civilian cruise vessel at sea. So let's just call it. It's the fucking
Like
Royal
the
Caribbean.
Carnival.
Yeah,
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 whatever.
it's the Carnival Cruise Line of the galaxy, right? Meanwhile, you have a naval destroyer or a starship destroyer board, and you're telling me the people that are in charge of the buffet line are going to turn around and fucking take over an enemy invasion?
It's really weird because there's a whole thing when you're on board and you're like, this entire thing doesn't make any sense because
From a
there's
tactical
portion-
standpoint, I need Ryan Kinel, our fearless leader, our Navy man, and our tactical leader to explain to me the story.
It doesn't make any sense because there's a part where the Imperial's attacking you and you're supposed to try to repel them, and this ship is just decked out with fucking weapons and lasers and ion cannons and proton torpedoes and all this shit. You're like defending, you're shooting down ties, which is it reasonable that this cruise line might have some defensive weaponry. Yeah, sure. Not enough to stand up against like a Star Destroyer or an actually fucking big military vessel. Maybe against actual pirates, but not a military vessel. Doesn't make any sense. Then also you have to consider that after the First Order boards, they take you down so you can do lightsaber training.
Oh,
in what world would a random crew, like would a random passenger on this cruise line be trained with a lightsaber? Like, what are we fucking talking? Why would that even be an option? There's no Jedi.
I got a better question. You've got a Star Destroyer. It's got thousands of ground troops on board. Why are there only 2 stormtroopers?
No, if you go back to the video, she's like this with the guns out, right? And she's not even looking at the stormtrooper. And one of the stormtroopers has his hand up, and it's literally this far from the gun, where he can literally take the gun, shoot her in the face, and then shoot the other one. I know
you guys
Does
are
anyone
missing
remember
the biggest
episode
point.
4 when they're boarding the Tantive 4 and it's dozens of stormtroopers running down the hall shooting rebels?
Yeah, I
Jack,
remember that.
what are we missing here?
You know what?
There's something bigger y'all are missing. That all of those morons sitting in there paid $6,000 a piece to be there.
Oh my fucking god! You're right.
We didn't miss it.
Fuck.
Oh man, I've got a close up of Captain Kevin here.
Oh boy,
I
can't
bet
wait.
You do.
Captain
I bet you
Buffet.
do.
Oh my god.
Oh! Whoa!
Oh, it's so weird. Blue man are all having seizures.
Holy
looking at
shit!
this
You know
shit.
what? You know what? Now we know why it's all connected. She's a lizard person.
I'd be on the stormtrooper side.
Dude, it makes perfect sense. She's Illuminati. She's an Illuminati lizard person who works at Disney. And wow,
bro, look at
She
this
doesn't
dude
have to
in
wear
the
a mask,
back.
what homie does.
Look at this dude in the back wearing a fucking mask.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
a face
from that
she's
angle,
doing,
she
like-
kind of looks like Willow.
Fantastic.
Hold on.
Wait. What did she say?
And you are the captain.
I am the captain, Captain Keegan.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for letting us come to your Star Cruise.
Lovely to
wow,
have
she
you.
needs. You know what? She needs some teeth whitener and needs to brush her teeth.
Yeah.
I think that might be supposed to look that way. I don't know.
Safe
Hey,
journey.
hey, guys. Be nicer. The casting couch didn't work out for her.
Yeah, and now she's going to have to settle with Mary Patty.
What's your name? I'm sorry. Captain Keegan.
Captain Keegan. Thank you for having to board the Halcyon ship today.
Well, thank you.
Why is everyone saying the same fucking thing to her?
Who
It's
are
a
you?
cult.
Why the fuck are you here?
It's a cult. It's no different than Heaven's Gate or the Branch Davidians. Okay.
It's the questions they were instructed
boy.
to ask for the fucking media.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Here's some lightsaber training.
It was kind of twofold. We started once with a tracer beam. It was a little bit easier. There was a beam that shot out that traced it, so you could see the beam to hit a little bit easier. Now they took away the tracer beam. Now you must use the force. You've got to stay centered and stay focused. Side to side.
This woman's talking out of her ass.
There it is. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
What the fuck was I looking at?
Is that supposed to be a remote?
Yeah, that's kind of what they're trying to emulate with it. Yes, and it's just beams of light you're supposed to intercept. This is the training. So
I
God,
would
the
just pop
comment
him on the head
section.
with the lightsaber and be like, "Shit, I missed. Sorry."
When I got on board, I'm like, could I be on the stormtrooper side, please?
Yeah, exactly.
you
Dude,
guys
the
want to
comment
do
section's
some
line
Star
dancing.
Wars line dancing?
No, I didn't.
5, 6, 7, 8. Right, back, right, left. Keep going.
I'm out of here.
Oh God in heaven.
Is that the
Plan
electric
for
slide?
this?
Almost looks like the electric slide.
I would walk out and
This is
Commander
Star
Reed.
Wars.
They need some country westerners who got the buns in the kitchen and the biscuits in the oven. Hey, baby, time for some intergalactic loving.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
$6,000.
God, $6,000 for a family of 4, or if there's just 2
And
of
she-
you, 4,800.
oh
my
yeah,
God.
that's a fucking steal.
I tell you what, if I was
I-
George Lucas and I saw that, I'd be selling my stock like tomorrow.
Yep. I agree with you, Biggles. The way that she's holding them 2 guns, Revolver Ocelot is having a fucking seizure seeing that shit.
Literally, he could just like take the gun, kill her, and then be like, all right, everybody, stormtroopers in. Let's take this whole thing. All these people are now our slaves. We're going to make them work in the mines.
You know, we ourselves could do a parody of this crap, put it out there, and it would just blow up because, again, fans could make fun of this crap. It's ridiculous.
That's a good point.
Ruben, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
We have to. We have
Yes,
to.
I'm
Again,
in.
it's like it is so. If we just did this, it's just like it's so ridiculous.
So is it 4,800 just to go alone? I think so. I don't think there's an alone thing. I think it's like it'd be a room with like a king size bed or queen size bed or whatever, but it's supposed to be for 2. That's all the pricing options they have available. Now there is like upgraded things where you can pay more money to have a better experience there. This is just the base level that we're talking about.
This is a base level scam we're talking about. It's such good shit, god damn it.
God, it sounds like all my video games, man. You pay $60 for a piece of shit, and they're like, hey, do you want the rest of the game in a polished version? Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Pay me another $40, asshole.
It's like
I
playing
did
Madden.
a test. I have like a minute and a half commercial kind of thing I did on my channel for a story on series that I'm starting in March. And I actually did a little short film, and it's better than that. And I used my iPhone and 2 teenagers to voice it.
Yeah.
It looks better than that. And they have how many billions of dollars available to them? It's I don't understand.
It's sad.
It's laziness.
It's they're basically becoming entertainment's version of EA. Oh, we're gonna give you this game. Oh, you don't like it? Here's some microtransactions because you too retarded to understand what a good football game is if it bit you in the ass. Disney's doing the same shit.
And here's the same football game 10 years in a row.
Yep.
That gets worse and worse with bugs because we haven't updated it.
Here's the same Star Cruiser 10 years ago.
Basically.
Yeah, it looks like I knew it was going to be bad, and we all knew it was going to be bad and look bad, but fuck, man. And we didn't even get to the, hold on, I think we got to get to the Rey Skywalker Kylo Ren fight.
Okay, I got something
Jedi.
I noticed that I haven't heard anybody else notice yet. So I can't wait to bring it up. Let's
Okay.
go.
Yeah, the
I
whole
noticed
gun thing.
something that I have not heard anyone bring up on a video
Is
yet.
it about
to
the
my knowledge.
lightsaber?
No, besides that. Keep
Okay.
going. Let her rip. You go and I'll chime in when the time's right.
Is it about the kick?
Nope.
All right.
That R2D2.
So everyone,
All right,
hold it
guys, here
down.
comes the hero to stop Kylo Ren. Now, that lightsaber is the big one that was such a huge deal. They decided to premiere it. Everyone thought they'd actually made a lightsaber that would extend like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't like retract. And also, apparently, you can't hit it on anything because she's literally bending down to get a different lightsaber to fight with.
Oh,
Are
God.
you
All you have
serious?
to do is have her go behind a wall, swap the lightsaber, and continue on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
that's lazy.
Could have done that. Could have done
She
that.
does this. Kick.
Okay, stop.
All right,
Okay.
are you going to
Did
talk
you-
about the helmet?
What I was gonna say is that I don't know about anybody else, but if you look at his height versus her height, I swear to God that looks like the dude from Spaceballs.
Oh my god!
Like if you look at the proportion of his head on like the rest of him, and that's a Spaceballs guy.
Oh
His
my
head does
God.
look pretty fucking big.
I'm about to shit my pants.
His head does look remarkably fucking big.
It's gigantic.
At this point,
It's
I would
huge.
watch a new Spaceballs movie before I watched a new Star Wars movie.
I can't believe I'm not published if they're putting this shit out.
That is
Exactly
better
there.
choreographed than
That
the
is
Last
100%
Jedi fight.
correct.
Okay,
It's just stupid.
that is better than the Last Jedi fight.
Yeah, but I mean that they recorded. They could have done unlimited takes on that. They still put it out.
It's Dark Helmet.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah, and did you hear the paid shills? I mean, loving fans.
Oh,
Well, you got to consider they probably comped a lot of those people to get them in the commercial.
Of course.
Oh, for sure.
Probably all paid. probably paid for all their shit to get there.
Well, yeah, they're all
Yeah, they were
fucking
invited.
paid,
They were invited.
They were all absolutely paid for sure.
Chills.
I wanted to. God, there's a couple fucking really cringe. Oh, here we go. This is from another angle.
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
Here you go. Here's from another angle. You can see the start of the fight, and you can really see it like, or put it down there. Watch this.
Oh my god!
It just looks so awkward and dumb. Also,
so
they can show
tacky.
that lightsaber doing that.
Ryan, I need you to send me $6,000. I'm going to give you the same experience. Watch.
That's pretty much.
Wait, I'm picking it up now.
That's basically it. God, this is rough. Who's this? Chip and Co. Let's see what else they have on their channel here or on their thing. They post anything else? Oh, they've got this video. You wanted more Gaia?
No, I guarantee you no one wants more guy.
Bro, look at this little baby with a fucking helmet on.
Is that a helmet? Is that an actual helmet, or did they paint it on their head?
I don't know.
Well, from my experience with Star Wars,
This
aren't the
dude
Twi'leks
really put on a
overdressed?
fedora to turn around and watch.
Yes,
this.
the Twi'leks are definitely overdressed.
Look at this. Hey, these guys do look like, I mean, literally every fucking person has a cell phone and a camera in their hand because they're all there to get fucking footage for their channels because they were paid to be there. I keep seeing Finn here too.
Every depressing thing that
All you need to do is do a reaction to every single person posting their video on their channel. It'd be hilarious. You'll get so many views because this is joke. This is a joke. This is a joke.
I couldn't possibly fucking do
The moment
that.
the moment Disney got fingered. Stay tuned.
Bro, these are all the employees, I think. They all have fucking masks on, dude. You're an immersive experience. Evidently, COVID exists there.
Yep.
Fuck these motherfuckers. Here's two of them.
Well,
Space COVID.
you noticed all the servants are wearing masks, right?
That's how it is. Oh my god.
Is that it for the video, or is there more action?
Hold on. I just saw this. I didn't realize this is the person who posted it.
I think I died.
I'll try not to break down.
Blue hair.
Something
What's
about
your blue
being
hair, sir?
Maybe he likes
seen it firsthand.
When did dudes get blue hair?
That's what I'm asking.
I had blue hair one time. Don't ask how it happened. I don't know. I fucked something up and my hair was blue for like.
Yeah, you keep that to yourself, Biggles.
Look at that caption. Look at that caption.
My first reaction after disembarking the Halcyon, is it worth it? Watch a grown man cry.
Oh my God.
In 1977, I was 2 years old, and I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back in 80, and then I remember seeing Return of the Jedi in 83, and
this has absolutely nothing to do with those movies.
No,
bro.
No.
Absolutely nothing.
And after seeing Rey, I knew Vader wasn't actually the chosen one, and my heart just couldn't take it anymore. So I cried in happiness that Darth Vader was no longer the chosen one.
I cried so much the blue dye in my hair fell off.
The weirdest thing about it is like they're piping like dramatic music through everything. Like, so it's like, just watch here. I'm gonna show you this part.
Oh no.
It's from the same guy here. Like, this is just going on all the fucking time, and like, which
God.
It would make sense if you were going through Galaxy's Edge and it sounds like that, but when you're like supposed to be on a cruise, there's constantly piping Star Wars music.
Bro, I would be more pleased if I had Cantina Band on a 24-hour loop in that fucking car ship. because I feel like I was in fucking Star Wars.
Hey, at this point, I would settle for Yub Nub.
Like, I just think the idea of them playing that is like it's a meta thing. Like they wouldn't be playing that music in Star Wars. They'd be playing normal fucking music like the Cantina theme and stuff like that from bands. That's a really weird thing.
I don't get it, man. I don't.
And what's even more cringe is you see every single bit of their comments too, how they're playing this up. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. When you just saw there, it was so emotional. I want to cry.
Man, that dude has 138,000 Instagram followers. Damn.
I agree with Jim Burt in the comments. The Ghost of Kiev should just fucking bomb the shit out of that damn starship.
The Ghost of Kiev. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So what do you guys think? Is this hotel? How many? Do you think it's going to be successful for them? We'll put it at that. Whatever that might mean to you.
Well,
I think it will be. I think there will be enough fucking people that will pay enough money to fill enough spots that it'll be successful for them.
Bro, who's gonna? Okay. Do you really think this is gonna last more than? I can't imagine there's that many people that'll spend $6,000 for more than a year or two.
There's
going to be a
more
year
whales than
doing
you
the no
think in
retool
this
it.
industry.
Okay, so you
promise
think it'll
that.
run for like about a year and then they'll retool it?
Yeah, because what they want is
Probably.
because I think that you'll have a couple people that go a few times and like, oh, I did resistance this time. I'm going to do first order this time, and like they dig it. But I think for the most part, what you're going to want is those people that did enjoy it to every couple of years give them an opportunity to spend $6,000 more there with a different experience.
There's a lot of stupid people in this world that will pay that money to go do that.
And I think it's actually pretty easy to. I think it'd be pretty easy to do that because all you got to do is like change costumes and change that like the actor characters and tell a different story.
That'll match two things. That matches how Star Tours is now, right? Because Star Tours is that way now, and then Rise of the Resistance is that way also. So this goes in line with how those two rides operate.
Yeah.
I will say this, like I've never been to Disney, but I've heard like stories of like people, their experiences. I'm looking at the comments. I agree with everyone here. Give it 2 to 6 months and it's going to wear off completely to the point where Mexican Iron Man said it will be retooled. And even at that point, it's not going to matter because it's going to be outweighed by all the other features that are shown in Disney World. That's all I got to say.
Well, all right. So we said it's going to get better when the trilogy was finished. It's not going to get better.
No,
I mean,
it's
not.
Disney is a fundamentally flawed piece of shit company.
Yeah.
Well, they're fundamentally flawed if you want actual quality entertainment, but they make money fucking hand over fist at those goddamn parks. And they, again, bring it back to look at what Book of Boba Fett did. Like over 30% higher ratings than End of Mando season 2, which blew up the fucking internet. Let's get that straight. That blew up the fucking internet. Even if I thought it was cringe seeing dead-eyed Luke Skywalker slash a couple of robots and literally ask no questions about anything going on, just come and kidnap this child. I wasn't moved by that at all in any way, shape, or form. But the vast majority of the public was. That was a huge fucking moment. And now this season finale beats that by a third, like by 30%.
I was moved to rage when I saw that scene.
Yeah.
Because they could have fixed this a long time ago. They could have used that a long time ago. They could have made that story better. It just showed me that they're not above using whatever they have to use to justify what they've done. And they'll keep doing it. They'll use Mark Hamill because they'll let them. They'll use whoever because they'll let them. It's just the way it is. And that's unfortunate. But I've moved on. I've got the original trilogy, I got the prequel trilogy, and I got the EU. I don't need anything Disney's putting out right now.
Same.
Okay.
And God bless you because you also create new content that's creative and done right. And I mean, shit, I am not a creative type, but I tell you this much: I love it when I find independent creators that create their own stuff because we're everything else is crap, and the best stuff is from independents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's just what we're gonna have to look to from now on.
Yeah, I personally think there's just so many there's so many normies who are just sitting there salivating over lightsabers and Star Wars music and a logo. And this isn't, this is the other thing, this isn't necessarily catered to like everybody. They even said it straight out. Like, not everyone can afford $4,800 for a 2-night stay at this fucking piece of shit. This is for rich people who think Star Wars is neat. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's for influencers who are trying to take advantage of nerd culture and geek culture online, because that's the majority of the people online.
Well, it's like this. Do you think for one moment that Lord of the Rings, they would be doing a Lord of the Rings show, or they would have done a Wheel of Time show if the first 5 or 6 seasons of Game of Thrones was not successful?
No, absolutely not.
No, they wouldn't be.
No.
It boils down to one thing, and it always boils down to one thing. It's about money and how they can manipulate whoever they have to manipulate to make the most money they possibly can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I believe they're like entertainment vampires in a way. They will suck a franchise dry and then move on to the next one. So they did Game of Thrones, they fucked it up, and then they moved on to the Wheel of Time. And then now they're moving on to Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings has such a rich fan base, and there's all that money that they could have, but they're going to screw it up.
Well, just because I know Wheel of Time almost word for word. I've read it so many times and I've listened to it so many times. I used to be a really big fan of the guy that took over. But the thing about Wheel of Time was it is about story. Their history was all stories. Their legends were all stories. When they communicated how things worked in different kingdoms, it was about stories. And the whole point was racism. This group of people had issues with this group of people, which had issues with this group of people, and they were all different races and cultures. And the story, the whole saga, 12 to 18 books long, is about how those races have to come together to defeat basically Satan, the return of Satan. And they took that and made it a shadow of a shadow, and then took all the race out of it. It was crazy. Even in the show itself, it says that the chosen one would be of the ancient blood, raised by the old blood, which meant that he looked different than everybody else in his village. Everybody else in his village every person was of a different race. It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they did 6 episodes and it was done. And that's what something as great as the Wheel of Time ends up being dissolved down into. It's ridiculous and it's almost evil the way they did that.
And they're doing that with every franchise. Like you heard the talks about Babylon 5 and Stargate SG-1. Like, they're just going to keep moving from franchise to franchise and franchise, suck as much money as they can out of it, and leave nothing but a shriveled husk behind.
Yep.
But that's the whole idea. The whole idea is that, again, growing up, these were my heroes. I liked Luke Skywalker. I even admired Darth Vader when I was a kid.
Yep.
And again, now if you basically say that Darth Vader didn't do anything, Luke is a soy boy, then that's your hero now. Then what do kids have? They have no heroes. They have no heroes. They have no foundation. They have no father figure per se. And they're fatherless. And they're doing that to just destroy the American male.
Well, I'm like Ruben. I was a latchkey kid in the 80s. They weren't just heroes to me. They were friends that I could return to and understand. And that, that's why I create new stuff. I've got noir characters. I've got urban fantasy characters. I've got science fiction characters. I've got I even have Christian stories on my channel.
Yeah.
Because everything that came before is not safe. None of it.
Well, no, and it's this whole ideology of deconstruction, right? That's what we're looking at right now. Is Hollywood is so obsessed with this idea of deconstructing everything because it's easy. You just do the opposite of whatever everyone expects you to do. And at the same time, you tear down all these heroes and male role models that kids have to look up to, and they end up growing up lost, and they have no sense of self or identity.
They're not idiots. It's the thing. They're not idiots. They basically, just like we were appalled by the Taliban blowing up the Buddhist statues, and we're appalled by how they're taking down statues of our American founders. Now they're going after, let's just destroy all of this. Let's make Superman gay. Let's change this, that. Because again, they want to just tear it all down. They don't want anything that we have. And if you don't have anything, then you will just have to, they want you to submit to their will. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's what the Great Leap Forward in China was.
Right.
Exactly how it's happening here.
But I say no. I say hell no.
Yeah, exactly. What was it? Get rid of the three olds, the old customs, old culture, religion, and old traditions, right?
Yeah, culture, religion, and history.
That's what it was, yep. That's what we're seeing happen in America, only not so...
well,
it's in our face, but it's not announced directly.
It's been slow. It's been... Everyone likes to be like, oh, the slippery slope fallacy. It's the boiling frog, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with everything. With every change of culture, with every change of entertainment, like whatever it is, that's what's been going on the past several decades. It's
been going on for over 70 years.
We're all frogs. We're in a pot of water that they're slowly turning up the heat. And every time they take it a step too far, every time it's like, oh, you're not ready for pedos to be a sexuality. Okay, we'll turn it back down real quick. Can you get the frog to settle back down? We're gonna slow burn that up. Like
the problem is we do notice the incremental changes that they make in the temperature. We just ignore it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think we began noticing until it became blatant. I mean, if you go back, you can find movies in the 80s that were woke. You can find, but they weren't obvious about it. It was subtle. It made sense.
I agree with Jack on this. Even in comics, like Stan Lee, rest in peace, Stan. He did an interview about that where he was talking about, there is political messaging in my stories, but it doesn't impact the story overall. It's just there to add a bit of substance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, one of my favorite series does this really well. It's the BioShock franchise.
Oh yeah.
BioShock is so good at that because the political messaging in it is so ambiguous. It's up to the player to make their decision on where they stand. It presents to you a situation that you have to figure out where you stand on. That's how it needs to be presented.
Well, we're at the point where even stuff that we like are made by people who despise us.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the Snyderverse, but I don't trust Zack Snyder. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because he lives in that environment. He has to survive in that environment. So he's saying shit that don't make sense, just like everybody else.
This has been an awesome discussion, though, guys, about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, culture, everything. But we've been going almost 2 hours. We are going to wrap it up and let everybody plug what they're doing, plug their channel or whatever it is you want to talk about. We'll start with the hype man, Biggles.
Hi, I'm Biggles, and we're leaving. So you can find me at youtube.com/BigglesMets, and then twitch.tv/Biggles_Mets, and you may see me for a certain channel pretty soon here. That's all I gotta say.
Very cool, Biggles. Very cool. Make sure to follow Biggles. Patty, I know you don't normally have anything to plug. Do you have anything now?
Oh, well, once again, nothing to plug. Just great appreciation for you bringing us on here and letting us share in part of the conversation.
Yeah, of course, man. I love it. I love that I get to have you guys on here and that you guys get to do the talking for a while and I get to sit back and hear different takes and different ideas about shit. It's always good. I think the chat likes it too. Mexican Iron Man, bringing the diversity once again.
Most of my time during the week is over with Andre and Tom at Midnight Sage in the morning, which I produce, and Midnight Sage After Dark, which I appear on with Tom, and Midnight Sage in Espanol, which I help Polly with from Latino Slant. So all that's on Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central with Tom Connors.
Hell yes. Make sure to follow Mexican Iron Man to all those places. Ubuntu, do you have anything to plug?
No, I'm just a faceless voice in the crowd. You know, I'm that social chameleon on the internet that nobody knows who he is. I don't plug anything because I don't have anything. I'm just another guy.
I don't own anything, and I'm happy about it.
Oh no! Fuck that shit. I own
kidding.
plenty of stuff.
I'm just kidding.
They're all dead hookers.
Ooh,
well, hey, we don't talk about the basement. The basement's
that's right.
Means he's got a lot of carpets.
Yes.
Story
Man Jack, where can people find you and what do you do?
I am on YouTube and Rumble now. Did that this week. And I write stories. I also have hints and tips on how to do it yourself because we've got to create our own stuff. Currently, I have 3 chapters out of a novel or novella I'm writing set in the future. The basic premise is what would happen if we were sent to colonize the universe, but we had to come back after 3 million years because there's no place else. And how would things have changed? So, yeah, like I said, I'm on chapter 3 of that. And I'm currently writing another noir series that is an urban fantasy private detective series that will be launching in the middle of next month. So lots of stuff.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome. Heath Nation, what do you got going on?
So what is going on, fellow stream viewers? This is Heath Nation 2465. You guys can find me here on YouTube, Heath Nation 2465. I've been uploading a lot of shorts as of lately, just speaking my mind, shooting the shit. Holy smokes, my channel's been blowing up, and there have been people that have been pissed with me, but I could give less of a damn. So if you guys want to see me continue to roast the meta of our society, and as well as upload gaming content, don't forget to follow me on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And I also just started Twitch this month. I'm going to be doing Fortnite streams as well as throwback fighting game streams. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. It's the same as my YouTube. And on that, I am proud to be the ambassador to Ryan Kinel and the RK Nation. About my hat to you, to all you guys, to the viewers, to Steph, who is putting out all the links. She's an absolute legend. And, of course, to Dr. Rachel Lindbergh, who gave me the nickname, or came up with the nickname, the Ambassador.
The Ambassador. I like it.
Yep.
Thank you, Heath. Thanks for coming, man. And then, for the first time, Ruben, buddy, where can people find you?
Find me at Ruben Christopher Haynes on YouTube. But my old channel, it was started back in 2009, has been resurrected in the last few days. It's my weight loss quest. Every single day I post, I do a weigh-in, and I show you what I eat, and I show you what I work out. And today I showed you everything. And then I worked out, I walked, I got outside. And again, it's all about me changing my life, working with the doctors on my condition to make sure that I get healthy and, again, be more vibrant and be part of this whole fellowship. Because, again, it's a great thing, and we're all doing great things here.
And everybody should follow that, inspire others.
Yes, exactly. Because again,
absolutely.
That's the thing. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. I tell you all, like, I want to interview you, want to get to know you, and don't give up. And again, I'm going to eat my own dog food and saying, you know what? I'm not going to just dish it out. I'm going to take it. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to put my weight out there, and it's bigger than I've ever been. But I'm going to change it, and watch me drop, and watch it change.
Oh yeah, man. I love it. Make sure to follow Ruben, subscribe to him, and watch what he's got going on. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody here for hanging out, and you guys are big supporters, and I love doing this every month. I'm glad I was able to get back. I got back into town a few hours before this stream, actually. So it worked out perfect. Also, Steph's been dropping the link to Open Airlock Policy's Odyssey channel that he just set up. He's usually here every week, but he couldn't make it this week. So shout out to Tim as well. And thanks to Steph constantly for doing all the work behind the scenes and for putting the links out for you guys. And thank you to the chat for showing up and hanging out while we shoot the shit. And thanks for Jay sending some people over here as well near the end. But thank you guys so much for being here. We'll talk to you. I don't know what the fucking last Saturday is of March. Let's look at the date. I can tell you right now. We'll be back here on March 26th. March 26th, we'll be back doing this once again. But
all right.
Sweet. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Peace.